Throat feels like it's full of snot. Phlegm.
Yeah.
Tasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm ready to go to bed. All right, we ready?
Yeah, it's rock and roll this shit.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Fans in Motion podcast. I like to say the only podcast that you didn't know you needed. I'm looking back at my friend. Oh, there's just Josh. No Brent today. So I say to my friend Josh, skit, 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 skit.
Yeah.
Say hello, Josh.
That will only make sense if you have listened to this record.
So that's as everybody knows, I try to open with a lyric. Sometimes I try to tie it into the actual topic. We are discussing the song called Cement Shoes off Jeff Watson's solo album, Lone Ranger. And the only lyric that I could find off of that album is a certain person that we'll discuss later, scatting. That's the only thing I could find. So that was all I got. And I thought it was funny. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it doesn't play well to everybody, but it played well to me and Josh. So
and there's a reason why that individual to be named later could only do a scat.
Exactly.
So
yeah, we got it's just me and Josh today. Brent is unavailable at this point in time, so we're just going to go ahead and power through this. Josh, the last episode we did was the what makes Night Ranger iconic. Did you get any feedback? Did people question our decisions? I saw a few people kind of liked some of what we were saying, but did you get any more feedback? They might tell you, "Hey, you're wrong," or "Hey, I got another one you guys should throw in there."
Yeah, and then speaking with, like I said, Brent not being here, what was it? Did he get within like 100 feet of a skull again?
I can't say. There's legal reasons I can't talk about what's going on, but he is not on this episode.
Yeah, and
We'll leave it.
Is he? Well, we don't even know if he's in the country. That's.
I mean, it's a piece of paper. It's just
and who? I mean, who knew that there were certain laws against some things?
Listen, anyway, I was at a show last week. I went to the Billy Idol acoustic show here in town, and there's an artist who I mention as often as I possibly can by the name of Butch Walker. And a lot of my friends were like, "Hey, I thought you couldn't get that close to him," because I got a picture with him. And I was like, "Hey, man, he doesn't know about the restraining order. So as far as I'm concerned, I can get as close as I want." So anyway.
So yes, the last episode was why we think Night Ranger is iconic. We talked about Sister Christian and Motorin and the live shows, and I think Brent talked about the logo and but yeah, a lot of people, were right with us on those. A lot of people mentioned the dual guitars, and the dual vocalist. And everybody kind of has their own reason why, they're iconic to them. And it was interesting just reading everybody's, I guess, reason that they are. So I'll just jump to it real quickly here. So, I think they made this to where we go. So the dual guitars, the singing drummer, like some people mentioned what Brent had said, the way the stage is set up with Kelly Kagi on the other side there. A lot of like John Juanito Davies said a lot of that. John Reed talked about the two vocalists, and Randy Vukovic talked about, again, kind of what I talked about, the live show. Dave Nadalman agreed. Ding. Carl is Eichelman.
Eichelman, I believe.
Yeah, again, the dual vocalist, the dual guitars. He gave us the idea we should do an episode of our favorite Night Ranger lyrics. Some trousers from Don't Tell Me, or from Eddie's Coming Out Tonight.
Yeah, I'm all about the trousers.
So people seem to enjoy it, and everybody's kind of got their own thing they gravitate to, why they think they are iconic.
I would say that you really probably nailed it the best
Of
is with
course
the
I did.
term motoring.
Yep.
While we all threw out, I think, iconic things, end of the day, they brought a word into the
Lexicon.
zeitgeist.
Yep.
They brought a word. They created a word that maybe people knew, but it became part of the
I'm not.
80s. I mean,
I'm
it's
not. I'm not sure if people know what motoring means today. They know
yeah,
the word, but
but we all had our version of that, at least prior to the modern times of people that just live and die by their
Mhm.
cell phones. When we didn't have that, I mean, we had an area in our part of town called Eastgate Boulevard that you cruised, which is essentially what I think motoring is you get out there with your buddies, you crank up the cassette of the day, and you just drive up and down. It made no sense, but we were young and dumb, and you
yeah.
know,
Um.
chasing the spotlight.
uh. But yeah. I mean, it goes beyond Sister Christian because sometimes oh, they sing Sister Christian. You'll get that, and you say motoring, and it's like, oh
You
yes.
can see
So
it snap into focus with them.
yeah, and you got to think too. Of Night Ranger's level, where they're at, you know, popularity wise or whatever. Um, Not very many bands have that. I mean, that I'm just trying to think of some where you just say something and at least you know the song. You may not know Night Ranger, but oh
Yeah,
yeah, that song. Um,
I'm trying to think. I can't think of another. I'm sure they're out there, and maybe
mm,
people will tell us. But off the top of my head, right here, I can't think of anything that's you can say a word and go, bam, that's that
well,
band, that's that song.
let's just do like REO Speedwagon. They're a little bit bigger than Night Ranger, I guess, but um, if I say Take It on the Run, you know, does that really? Oh yeah, that's iconic. Or
Mhm.
Roll with the Changes. I mean,
But you're given a
that's
whole title. Motor is a word
yeah,
in the song.
and even Foreigner, what Jukebox Hero. I mean, if you don't know the song Jukebox Hero, I don't think Jukebox Hero. That's not going to take you
Yeah.
somewhere. So um, you know,
Yeah. We'd have to
so
do some thinking on that to come up with a
I mean,
good one.
there's some that do. I mean, if you go, you know, I guess it's even like I was going to think like "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey. I mean, that's iconic. But like I'm trying to think like if you say, "Hey, don't stop believing," I don't know that. Like, what do you go to? Like, oh yeah, you know, uh,
And you got to think too of the broad spectrum. Like I was just sitting there thinking, for example, if I was with a certain crowd, I could go, and I'm horrible at this, so please don't judge. But if I went, oh, wah,
yeah.
people would know I'm doing Disturb. The average person wouldn't know that, but the average person who,
Well,
if they haven't seen Night Ranger, they would at
I
least know the commercial.
I don't even know that song. I mean, I know the song, but I don't know what the title is.
Yeah.
But if you said, "Hey,
Oh, wow. Yeah,
do you
I
know
mean,
what, do you know blah 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 by Disturbed?" Maybe. Then you do that. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've heard that."
yeah.
Um,
Again, that's a narrower scope too.
mhm. But we still
Night Ranger. I
there's
mean, they were used for a major national ad campaign, and
my
it's been
only
used in songs. I mean, and it's not songs, but movies.
soundtracks galore. Um,
Boogie Nights. You know.
oh Lord, you can tell we're working overtime
Oh
tonight.
my god! If anybody knew how long we've been sitting and staring at each other.
Yeah, we don't want to review, do the magic for some upcoming
Exactly.
episodes.
So
But
this episode, getting back to this one, Josh.
yes,
So break it down. We're going to be discussing Jeff Watson's solo album, Lone Ranger. Throw some stats at us.
well, not to be confused with the band that came out of L.A. Uh, around that time, 1994, they were a three-piece. I don't know. There's a documentary out there where they were called the Lone Rangers, and basically, long story short, is they basically took hostages and hijacked a radio station.
Really?
They were trying to get like a record deal, right?
I was buying your story. I
And
was like, what?
um So, what happens is they, take over this radio station and their demo tape gets fucked up. So it's a long look the documentary up. I think it's called Airheads or something after the candy.
Dude, I
But
was biting hard on that. Like, what? I don't know this story. It's a horrible name for a band.
anyways, so for those that don't know, that's gone over your head.
It went
There's
over
a
my
there's a movie from 1994, Brandon Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler, and
Adam
a
Sandler, yeah.
slew of others. And their band in that movie is called the Lone Rangers. Anyways, so this record came out in 1992. What was unique about it was at the time we had Damn Yankees. We all knew Jack Blades was out there, but before the internet and social media, what's these other guys doing? And you just didn't know. And so this is the first member that you kind of heard of after the breakup of Night Ranger. I mean, if you're local to California in that area, you maybe saw Barnaby Wild with Jeff Watson's group, or you saw Mega Mega with Brad Gillis. But nationwide, you just probably weren't aware of what they were doing. So late 91, 90, early 92, this was just starting to be advertised. So we've been doing the album focuses where we started with Dawn Patrol and worked our way up, and then we got out of, we got the Man in Motion to the breakup, and then we did the breakup years where we focused on Mega Mega, Barnaby Wild, and some of these records they played on. And then we did Damn Yankees. And so this is the next one in the next release by a Night Ranger member. So
and I'll say this, I think the title was expected. I mean, one of them had to use the title Lone Ranger. But I will say this, and Jeff, if you're watching, buddy, I love you, bud. I do not love this album cover. Do not. It makes sense. I get it. I just don't love it.
Well, I mean, I guess in the Night Ranger world, he's just following,
right.
But I mean, for Night Ranger, it's actually probably one of the better covers.
Yeah, I know. And I don't want any ill will because, I mean,
well,
God forbid Jeff says I'm never coming on your show.
Rebecca. So I don't know if Rebecca was is that his girlfriend or wife at the time? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, that's who did it. So anyways, this was a cool album for well, what was I, 15 when that came out? Like, holy shit, there's something going on with the Night Ranger world. So
yeah.
The biggest thing is, and we'll get into this more, is yes, it's an instrumental record, but it's not all just guitar shredding. I know, Andy, we talked, and I talked to Brent, and you guys both had this, well, we don't like guitar shred records.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, this isn't that. Yes, it's instrumentals, but it really shows how talented Jeff was. There's a lot of acoustic and then heavy stuff, and it's good. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not your typical shred record. I would tell you, if you don't own this, get it and just take a listen to it, because I mean, you got to think, think about Let Him Run, that acoustic stuff, and Goodbye. I mean, that's Jeff Watson.
That's Watson all day.
And and then his solos, just how melodic and stuff they were. But though he can shred too, that's what you get a full record of. And it's good. I've always enjoyed it. And I told you to give it a fair shake, and you've listened to it over the last few days. We will get your opinion when we get there. Let's not give away too much.
Let's move on. Let's go to Night Ranger news. Josh, what do you know? Because I have nothing.
Well, today,
except what you post. So
yeah, well, sometimes I'm just surprised as anybody else. So today we found out 7 is being released on vinyl for the first time. So 7, the 8th studio album from Night Ranger, was released in 1998, never had a vinyl release. So it is being released by this label that unfortunately I don't know that much about, but it's called Night of the Vinyl Dead, I think it's called.
Something like that, yeah.
So they've done some other releases. This is the first that I've really been aware of. coming out. So there's 500 copies. Looks like they're all being sold in Europe. If you go to the Fans in Motion Facebook page, I got to give credit to who initially posted it.
Bjorn, I think, is his name, or his first name. I could be wrong. I did go and buy one, Josh. I think I told you earlier I wasn't.
Yeah,
And
Bjorn Johnson, something like that. I mean, I don't know if there's a different
pronunciation
dialect of it from. Well, let's see where you're at, buddy. Did he block me already? There we go.
But it was very cool that he posted it, because that's something you didn't know about, none of us knew about, and this is what's so great about Facebook and these groups, is if you're a collector and you see something like this that's being done in Europe or another part of the world, this is your chance to get it. Limited edition. Well, I think it's 500 copies, correct?
Yes, 500 copies. I found other sites that are selling it. But again, they're European, nuclearblast.com and a few others. 500 copies. Looks like they said they are hand numbered. So it's not colored. It's going to be black vinyl.
Yeah.
Just seeing something. No. All right. It's kind of weird.
Hoping that the Fans in Motion worldwide sell this thing out.
It doesn't contain Crazy World, which was the additional track, but I think it does have everything else. Sign of the Times, Jane. Don't ask me why. Kong, Mother Ham, Soul Survivors, See I Love You, Sign. Maybe it's the track listing that's off. Something just seems different, but there is the 11 tracks on there. Now Night Ranger doesn't have any involvement in this, but like I said, if you listen to our licensing episode with Tom Shannon, I don't know how far back it was, but it's not uncommon. I would maybe Sony owns that now. I don't know if Sony picked up CMC or something, but whoever owns the rights for that. I mean, if I had a record label, I could contact Universal or Sony and I go, hey, I want to print 500 copies of this record. What's it going to cost me? Because they own the masters. Night Ranger doesn't own the masters, and they may say it's going to cost this, and you got to at least print off this many, and you have to have them sold by such a certain date, and blah 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 blah.
Right, like the rights fall back to them at a certain time.
Correct. It's not uncommon that Night Ranger doesn't have any involvement with it. But it's a great record. I mean, I think I ranked it my second favorite record. It's a little bit different. But every song is good except for Kong. I'm not a big Kong fan, but it's just, I don't know. I just always just thought that was a good record. I mean, the ballads are just fantastic.
The solid disc.
Yeah, it's not like it has that barn burner. I mean, maybe Sign of the Times, but even like Peace Sign and Revelation and Sea of Love. I mean, Sea of Love is a little heavy, but good
Soul
record.
Survivors on there.
Mm-hmm. So I'm happy. Listen, I think it's not a coincidence that the formation of Fans in Motion, since then, you have seen an uptick in Night Ranger vinyl being produced. I mean, think about ATBPO released on 4 different colors. We've had the re-release of Dawn Patrol, the re-release of Midnight Madness. We have the Somewhere in California Record Store Day, though it's been delayed. It's coming out. There's other stuff from Future Works, and now we got 7. That's us, man. I'm taking credit for it. So
maybe we got a deep fan over there who's listening. They're going, man, you know what? I'm going to jump on. Josh said it's easy to get the rights. I'll do it.
I never said it was easy, but maybe he's got
maybe for them it's easy.
Maybe he's got more time and more pocket money, I guess. But
more euros.
So, but yeah. So you got that new record. coming out 7. Like I said, go to the Fans of Motion page, and you should
You
be
can
able
find it. The links are
to.
there. What else you got going on? Anything? Is it shows or anything
Well, yeah,
announced?
dude,
Merch?
they're announcing new shows left and right. No new merch. I mean, from what we talked about the last episode, but um, so there was a July date. What is it? Wisconsin, July 9th. They're going to be playing with 38 Special. Um, there was the date of February 19th. They're playing in Lake Charles, Louisiana. So that just got announced. Waukegan, Illinois, Genesee Theater, April 1st. I'm not sure if we talked about that in the last one or not, but Green Bay in February. They might as well get their mail forwarded to Wisconsin, the Illinois border. So yeah, they're announcing dates just left and right. So um, as long as they get the hell out of Wisconsin, you should be able to,
Did you mention Wilmington?
I'm getting there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not gone on sale yet. They probably will by the time you hear this. But there's a thing called Rock the Block in Wilmington, Ohio, which isn't too far from Andy's old hood, Brent's hood, and my hood. And they had it last year, and I think Autograph and Quiet Riot did it. Anyways, like a 2 or 3 day event. I know it's at least 2. And I think some of it's inside at the Murphy Theater, and I think some of it's outside. But Wilmington's a cool little small town. I mean, it's not.
Yep.
I won't say it's small. I mean, but it's
Well,
not.
it's not Cincinnati or
It's
Columbus.
not a mighty metropolis. The Bengals for a couple decades held their
Yep, training camp.
there. So, anyways, Striper is playing Friday night, and the Night Rangers playing Saturday night, and then they bring in some lesser bands. You might get like an autograph or some local bands or like an ACDC tribute, stuff like that. So I think maybe Winger was there last year too. So maybe Winger, Quiet Riot one night, Autograph one night. So
Good night of music. Good weekend of music. I'm going to be there.
and you're not too far from the Hocking Hills. If you're into history, the Tecumseh Outdoor Drama is not too far from there.
Yeah.
So you can, definitely make a weekend of it. So it's called Rock the Block in Wilmington, Ohio. What else we got? Let me see here if there's anything else that I missed. You can see that we are not the most prepared, but
No, this show is a little.
it is what
We'll
it
get
is,
there.
man.
I don't think they
Anyways,
expect much out of us. The few people that are watching.
but yeah. So there you go. There's your Night Ranger news. Anything else? I'm sure there's something obvious that I'm missing, but
what about anything new stuff you want to talk about?
oh sure. What we got? I don't know. I've been kind of like buying like cassettes because I know they've been going up in price. So if I can find one cheap, I kind of just get it. So I bought this the other day.
That masterpiece.
Neverland. They did, a good job. I mean, it's got a big CD booklet. It's got the back fold, and I don't think there's anything. Sometimes you'll get some different photos and stuff like that. I don't think you have anything with that here, but anyways, for I don't know $3 or $4, I was able to pick this up and have it on cassette. The other thing is I found we did the Big Life episode not too long ago. I found I Did It for Love from Canada. Is there a difference?
The beauty, eh?
Yeah. Shut up, you hoser. So not much difference. I don't even think there's much difference in the back. The only thing you will have is a little bit of a different color of the logo, and it basically says that it's printed in Canada. That's it. All right. But the big difference is in the US, they've gone to that Screaming Camel label.
Yeah.
But in Canada, they were still using the old MCA Rainbow label. So it's got a different label from Canada. So if you are being a nerd like me and collecting the vinyl. There you go. The other thing I got that I'll show off here is the vinyl of Shrapnel Records here. This is LA Blues Authority. So this was something that Shrapnel Records did. Shrapnel Records had a lot of the guitar shredders. Paul Gilbert, Yngwie, stuff like that. I don't know if you can get Steelberg was
Watson
on
album is on Shrapnel, I believe.
correct. So and they were always like the first or second page of the magazine advertisements. So you would always look there and is anybody, and that's where I saw Jeff. I'm like, whoa, down in the corner. I'm like, Jeff's got a new record.
Yeah.
So anyways, this, I don't know if this came out before or after, but this would have been something you would have seen and go, oh, there's some Night Ranger guys on here. I don't think I ever had it back then. I definitely did not have it on vinyl. But here's the vinyl, and a lot of people on here. Zach Wild, track 2, The Same Old Blues, is Davey Pattison on lead vocals, Brad Gillis guitars, and Fred Curry drums. Richie Coxon, Glenn Hughes on different songs. Kevin Dubrow sings a song. Richie Kotzen, George Lynch is on here on a song. And it's Rambling on My Mind. Jeff Martin is lead vocalist. Kevin Russell plays some guitar. And then Jeff Watson plays guitar on that. So you got Jeff Watson and Brad Gillis on this from 1992. And you can probably find it on CD a lot easier. So there you go. A few things new to the collection.
I have nothing to add, though. I did do 2 concerts this past week, and I was going to get some shirts and some merch, and I just decided not to because I'm trying to step away from spending money on. I'm not a collector anymore.
You can buy a shirt, for Christ's
but
sake.
I will say this: I went and saw the Billy Idol Steve Stevens acoustic show. I know it has nothing to do with us, the Night Ranger, but that show was fantastic. And if you ever had the chance to see it, it's Billy Idol doing all his hits acoustically. I mean, it was great. And I saw that, and I went and saw a band called the Mavericks. Josh, I don't know if you're familiar with the Mavericks.
Yes, Raul Malo.
Man, what a show.
Dude, the Mavericks are
I tell
fucking
ya.
awesome. I mean, Raul, I think it's Raul Malo or Malo.
He can sing.
Oh, dude, he's like a little bit of Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
If you don't know the Mavericks, just download or buy their greatest hits.
Yeah,
it's from start to finish, just good stuff. I've got some of his solo records. What's funny is that,
and I don't know anything by them. I only went because, again, living here in Nashville, there's opportunities for shows are every single day practically. And both of these shows I saw were at the Mother Church, Josh. So I like going down to the Ryman Auditorium. It's a legendary venue. The tickets were $35, and I was like, you know what? I had seen Raul sing at a Traveling Wilburys tribute. I didn't know who he was, but the crowd went nuts when he stepped on the stage. And I'm like, who's this guy? And then he sang. I'm like, well, this guy's really good. Fast forward, I'm at the Billy Idol show. They're announcing other shows, the Mavericks. I'm like, you know what? I'm going. I'm off, and I'm going. Didn't know any songs by him. Didn't want to leave. It was like going to church. I mean, he had that crowd in the palm of his hand. Those people love him. But again, I didn't buy anything. So I have nothing to add except for just 2 great shows I got to see. And again, I say to everybody, get out there and support these bands when you can. Billy Idol is in his 60s. I don't know how much longer he's going to be around. I mean, I don't think he's sick or anything. But my point is touring is struggling. These bands they're still great. Billy's still great. He sounds great. Steve Stevens sounds awesome. And the aforementioned Butch Walker showed up and joined him on stage because he produced Billy Idol's new EP. So if you like that, Butch Walker, ding, put that in the drinking game.
Yeah, go check out the Mavericks. Here Comes the Rain is a great song. But anyways, just get the greatest hits. You won't be disappointed. And like I say, he's got sounds a little bit like Roy Orbison. They sometimes got a little Spanish feel to it, and
horns.
It's just
accordion. I mean, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So
they're one of the bands I've tried to go see. Like I think I had tickets and something happened. They got canceled and they were supposed to play close to here again. And but yeah, big Mavericks fan.
They're really good. So that's anyway. But moving on to the fans in motion. The reason we are who we are, we do what we do, and we say the things we say. Josh, since Brent's not here, do you have any mentions you want to drop?
Sure.
We always have to drop Mark Greenway because he's watching. He always watches late at night when he's ironing his clothes.
He just posted something. I don't know what. He's sitting in his car.
Yeah,
forever all over again. Recommends Bailey's over ice with 2 fingers of vodka and a side order of mince pies. Ooh, mincemeat pies. But let's see what we got. Well, we got got to thank Bjorn Jensen again for the 7 thing.
Yeah, post of the day probably.
Oh shit!
You need some Bailey's and cream.
I know. I'll probably.
Was just the vodka?
Need no, I just need a 8-ball minus the heroin, just the Coke. Let's see here. Sarah Griffith posted some Dawn of Madness where they're playing some, I think, Chipping Away.
I was at that show.
Yeah,
I didn't know Sarah at the time, but I was at that show. It's Northfield.
And Rich Haynes posted the Sign of the Times video, which I don't know if a lot of people know that exists.
It's an odd video.
It was an odd time.
Yeah.
Jerry Beach posted a nice post about having a little health scare, but everything turning out good and wanting people to get tested and everything. And you had his FIM sticker there.
Take care of yourselves out there.
Representing. And what else do we got? Frank Vlasensic, something like that. Had a picture, posted a picture of himself with the guys right around 2008. So you see Joel and Matt through there.
Oh yeah, I remember that picture. That was funny.
So see if we got Karen Sanders Yingling was asking about the Ringo Starr. That's what we need to talk about. The Ringo Starr. Jack Blades played in Ringo's All-Star Band in '98. It was all over TV back then because VH1 did a Storytellers episode. Jack played the bass, but you can't really find that stuff out there. But she found this picture of Jack and Ringo, which Jack Blades eventually used on his social media. So thank you, Karen, for that. On behalf of Jack.
I remember seeing that back in the day, and I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, I'm like
in Ringo's band.
I'm watching Ringo, and I'm like, "Holy shit, that's Jack Blades."
Because I think they came to like Riverbend every year, and I was like, never going to go. But then I'm like, I want to go because Jack's.
I don't know if he did the tour. I think he just.
I don't either.
I think he did 3 or 4 shows. I think he did just a handful. He wasn't in the actual touring band, but I could be wrong. You can buy the CD. The CD is still readily available out there. But yeah, have you seen Get Back, the Beatles documentary?
I still haven't seen it. You and I were talking about the other day. I have not. I mean, I want to wait till I can sit and watch it with my better half.
So if you're a Beatles fan, you're absolutely going to love it. All right. If you are just a casual Beatles fan, okay, I would tell you to listen to the Let It Be record and to Abbey Road a few times before you watch it. That's part of the magic. Okay. So if you know, like I said, I've been listening to the Beatles. I got probably into them in the late 80s, which for me was, 11 or 12 years old. But,
yeah.
So I've known these records, majority of my life, but that's the time frame. So if you're just a casual Beatles fan, go get the records, Let It Be and Abbey Road. If you don't know Abbey Road and Let It Be, pick them up anyways, because they're phenomenal fucking records. But the reason why this is so great, number one, it's really ahead of its time, just how many cameras they had. It's before obviously reality TV. And they used only a little bit of this footage, and they really didn't portray exactly how it went because the Beatles were breaking up by the time they released this in 1970, but this was recorded in early 69. But if you are interested in seeing just how songs transform and are created, that's why I was saying go listen to the finished products on Let It Be and Abbey Road. Now, here's the thing. Let It Be is the last record released by the Beatles, but it's not the last recorded. So early 69, they're gearing up for this TV show and they're going to write these songs real quick. Well, they write them, which ends up being the Let It Be record, but it doesn't get released right away. So they go and they record then release Abbey Road, and then that record comes out afterwards. So even though Let It Be came out after Abbey Road, it's actually recorded before. Okay. So what you do is you hear these songs in their infancy or being born, and it's just great. You hear a song that's just fantastic, right? Like I've known it my whole life,
Iconic.
and you see Paul McCartney just and within 2 minutes he's got the basic of the song, and he's just goofing off waiting for John to show up, and it's like that's how that song came to be. Or you see George Harrison walk in, it's like, hey, I wrote a song last night, and that's actually probably more like McCartney right there voice, but and okay, let's hear it. And he just breaks into I Me Mine, and I'm like, it's just like, I just wrote this last night, and it's just this iconic song. And you hear other iconic songs that they eventually work on that are nowhere near but
what they became.
But it dispels a lot of notions that people have had. And someone, I can't remember what interview I saw, but someone asked, who's the guy that produced it? Peter Green, the guy
Peter
did
Jackson.
Peter Jackson. They kind of asked, well, this stuff has been sitting in for 50 years, why now? And he, it's like, well, he wanted to make sure people knew it's not like it's been found. The Beatles knew it and just were sitting on it, but they didn't want it out there really because perceptions, and I think they looked at it more negative than what it really was, right? Their memory was, those were bad times. But now they kind of realize, hey, this is more history at this point, and history needs to be out there. And then what they discovered was, well, it wasn't really all that yeah, you remember the bad times, but man, there were a lot of good times. And so I just highly suggest, if you are a Beatles fan, obviously watch it. If you like to see like the creative process,
that's the part I look forward to.
Watch it, because if you're not into the Beatles or a creative process, it's not going to be entertaining. But if you want to see how songs are written and developed, watch it. It's one of the best.
I look forward to it. And I mean, two things. So again, not in any kind of, I've said this before in the podcast and people are probably tired of it, but I dabbled with some writing with a band a long time ago. And I've been in those situations where you're writing, trying to create a song, and you've probably done it, Josh. I don't know, but it is really something to see the process of writing. And I love that stuff. The other thing it makes me feel good is, and I never knew this until I was in London a couple years back. I actually share a birthday with Abbey Road, the album. It was released the day I was born. And I didn't know that till I walked into the studio. I had no concept. I didn't know. And I bought a t-shirt there that says 1969 real big on it. And it says September 26th. I was like, wait a minute. That's my birthday. And the lady's like, yeah, it's the day the album was released. So nothing to anybody but me, but I was like, that's cool. At least I have one little,
There you go. So, yeah.
And like you, I got into the Beatles late in life. My house was not a Beatles house.
And it's on Disney Plus. I guess my house wasn't. My stepdad had a like 80s cassette of like put together for cassette. Like it was never really a release back then. Mm-hmm. And it had songs from all over the place. It was like nothing. It may have had like come together on it, but I mean, it would have Come Together, then from Abbey Road, but then it would have something from Yellow Submarine and something.
Yeah.
So that kind of guy. I remember it had Taxman and it had Hey Bulldog and Come Again. So it's really this collage, and that was the first thing I had. I remember, I don't know, if I was 12, I got Sergeant Pepper's, and a good buddy of mine also was into the Beatles, and he got me on some of the. I borrowed some of the earlier CDs from him and stuff. So, and right now, one of the Night Ranger members is using my Disney Plus to watch it.
There you go.
They're like, man, I don't want to get another subscription. I'm like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Bada
That's where
bing.
we're at. We're waiting. There's a couple of series that we want to watch, and my wife's like, "We'll just wait.
Oh, right.
We'll get it. We'll get it for the month."
Oh, I'll send it to you.
Or maybe when your Night Ranger friends are done using your password,
you can use mine right now. I don't give a shit.
Forward it to me.
I'll stick it to the man. What are they going to do? Not let me.
All right, Josh. Let's bring this thing back on tracks. Let's get back.
Hey, listen. That if it wasn't for the Beatles, we wouldn't have Night Ranger.
True story. We wouldn't have Kiss either. There's a big long line of things we wouldn't have.
All right, what are we
doing?
Trying
to find my notes here. We were going to talk about a small, short conversation about this Jeff Watson album. I can't find my notes that I sat there and wrote. Here we go. When you're doing multiple shows in time, I can't keep track.
We are professionals.
Joshua. All right, so we're going to talk about the Lone Ranger. Jeff Watson's was. You could probably break. Was he the first one to put a solo album out?
Yes.
We know Brad did, and we know Jack did, and Kelly did.
I think this came out right around March of '92.
So give us the history real quick. So the guys were doing what and what precipitated?
Well, so you had Jack and Damn Yankees, and then you had, Brad and Jeff each tried to, and Kelly each tried to do a band afterwards. So Brad had Mega Mega, Jeff had Barnaby Wild, and Kelly had King of Hearts. King of Hearts released a record overseas. Kelly sings, I think, just one track on it, though. And it wasn't really his band as far as I can tell. Mega Mega did a 4-track demo, just never really took off. And then Jeff did Barnaby Wild. I think it kind of morphed into the Jeff Watson group. And it really never did anything either. Eventually, Brad and Kelly reformed Night Ranger in '91 with Gary Moon. Jackson Damn Yankees. So Jeff is kind of, out there on his own and ends up recording this Lone Ranger record. So
I interrupt just real quick because I know you've probably mentioned this, but refresh my memory. Was Jeff not invited into the Night Ranger with Gary Moon, or was Jeff not interested in the Night Ranger with Gary Moon?
Well,
or am I getting ahead of your story? I don't do that.
No, Jeff was there at the beginning, and Jeff,
I thought that's what you told me.
And Jeff, in his interview, which you can find online, it was the way I took it was not Jeff's decision to not be there.
Okay.
Decision was made. They were going to carry on as a 3-piece.
Okay.
So,
that's fine.
And the reason why I say is because the way I took that interview with Jeff, that's out there online, is that's the way he kind of worded it. Either way, I do know Jeff was there at the beginning. Jeff, Kelly, Brad, Gary Moon. So, for whatever reason, Jeff's not there. But he's the first to, Night Ranger doesn't release a record till '95. Brad releases a solo record in '93. Damn Yankees will release their second record later this year in '92. But after Damn Yankees, Jeff is the next one to record a record. It's, like I said, released on Shrapnel Records. Very reputable record company. Like I said, they were always, if you got rock magazines, usually like the first or second page, they would have the big Shrapnel Records advertisement, and then down at the bottom they would have all the different records you could order. So I remember ordering this. I'm pretty sure I ordered this from my local record store. There's a little store called the Pink Penguin. It was the first used and new record store in town. You got cramp?
I had an itch and I needed to move up my. I think
um,
the cramp is coming, but currently it's just an itch on my back.
So, but yeah, it was the first place I had used CD. Like the places, the mall had new stuff, but this had new and used. So this guy could order stuff, and he ordered this. And like I said, it's all instrumental, but it's not your typical guitar shredding record. It's very melodic. It's just good listening. Force the Feeling is just a great acoustic, well, it has some acoustic and electric with Alan Holdsworth, but
Yeah, so you mentioned that.
and I always recommend it to people to just give it a fair shake. So, talking to you and Brent, neither of you were too familiar with the record. And I told you to, hey, take a gander and listen to it. What did you think?
Yeah, so I'll open up by saying I am not a fan of instrumental. Even being a musician to a degree, I think it's ego stroking to me. I just think it's like, it's there. Certain people love it. I get it. Having said that, I mean, I love L.A. No Name, which is just a great little Joel and Brad back and forth. Um, I'm a huge fan of the song "Mr. Scary" by Dokken or George Lynch, to be specific. Love YYZ by Rush. Having said that, I don't want an album full of that stuff. But this was shockingly, I was so really enjoyed this album. The more I sat and listened to it, headphones or AirPods in, so it's just deep in me. I'm walking around my yard playing with my dogs, and I'm like, God, this song's good. Okay, oh, this song's really good. Oh man, that guy's shredding. That's awesome. And then it breaks down, and Jeff, again, I don't know the technical terms, but Jeff's picking style when he does the acoustic stuff, like on the Goodbye and Let Him Run and stuff like that. I do enjoy that a lot because I think that just shows a mastery of a technique, and he is so good at it. This song really, and this album in general, really just it cooks right along. I mean, it is good. There wasn't much. I didn't really skip anything. I listened to the songs all the way through, and I was like, yeah, that was really good. The drumming, as a drummer, I listened to that a lot. The drumming on this album is outstanding. So of course I have to go and look and see, well, who's playing drums. I have no idea who's on this band or in this band. The first name I noticed is a guy by the name of Steve Smith from Journey. Steve Smith is on like 2 tracks, and he is just crushing it on this album. There's another song that jumped out at me, and I'm like, God, this song is just on fire. Oh yeah, because there's a guy named Carmine Appice playing drums, who is just a legend, and he's just as insane on the drums as Jeff is on the guitar. And Alan, what's it, Holdsworth? I always mess his name up. He plays on the song with Steve Smith, and this thing is just blazing along, and not in a way like, and I'll say Yngwie for lack of a better term. Yngwie is one of those guys to me that, or Michelangelo back in the day, if you're a shred guy. It seems to me their only goal was to see how many notes they could cram into a 3-minute instrumental. I don't get that feeling from Jeff, even though I know full well Jeff can do it. So as I get through these songs, I'm just like, man. So the other drummer it's on this band, his name's Spike Orberg. I couldn't find anything on this guy, Josh. Maybe you have something. I'm telling you, is if you're a drummer and you want to hear some fantastic drum work, listen to Jeff's album because it does not disappoint. And there's the only vocals are on the one track, which Josh, you can address who that mystery vocalist is and why it's a scat fest and not in a obscure German porn way. But anyway, my review is it's really solid, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm going to be purchasing it because it's something I think you could put on in the background, like some people put like maybe some jazz music on as they're cleaning the house or doing some dishes or just making dinner. You could put this on and you wouldn't be bothered by it because it's not Yngwie and Steve Vai and Satriani just trying to cram as many notes. It is Jeff Watson playing fantastic melodies in the way Jeff Watson does. And again, he's been out of the band so long, you may forget how phenomenal he is as a guitar player. He is truly just amazing. So I hand it to you now, Josh.
Yeah, and just think, you went from I'm not a big instrumental record to this, and I was
I
like,
just rambled on for.
you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, you've been missing out for 30 years. Um,
Yeah.
and it's definitely worth, like I said, worth checking out. It's not your typical, every note has a place. It's not like you said where someone's trying, just jamming how many notes they can play. Um, it's just a good record. So he does thank every member of Night Ranger in here, and he does thank Brad Gillis in the special thanks.
Brad
Brad,
plays on one song. Okay.
no, Brad does not play on it. He was supposed to, if I remember correctly.
As if you look at the credits of Cement Shoes, I think he's on
Is
that. Am
it?
I not? Am I misreading
Oh
that?
wait, no, you're right.
I think he does some solo work on it.
Reverse that. Jeff was supposed to be on Brad's album, but
Okay.
they could not get the schedules mixed right. So that is the. But you're right. Yes, Cement Shoes. so so yeah, the person doing the vocal scats on the first song is the one and only Sammy Hagar. So you're talking like at the height of Van Halen,
Yeah.
and
He makes out a little time to slide into the studio.
oh, so you got to
Was that?
remember, Van Halen or Sammy Hagar and Jeff Watson have known each other pre Night Ranger, and so Sammy Hagar does these vocal scats, but he can't. By contract, I don't. He wasn't allowed to sing on other records. So how they kind of get around that is he's just doing vocal scats. So that's where at the beginning where we're going da do da do da do. Yeah, that's kind of what he's doing there. So, but on that song, you got Jeff Watson on guitars. You got Sammy doing the vocal scats, and you got Brad on there. And then Force the
Drummer
Feeling.
is Spike Oberg. That guy, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
he rocks.
I'm not sure of the bass player Brad Russell. I'm not familiar with him, but Force the Feeling, Alan Holdsworth, which is a phenomenal guitar player himself, one of Jeff's close friends who passed away a few years ago. But you got him and Brad.
And what's he known for? Do you have that off the top of your head? I tried to look him up and I can't
Well,
remember.
I
He
don't
played
know.
with a lot of people, didn't he?
Well, I think he was just kind of known more for just his, his guitar playing. I don't know if
Okay.
there's an actual song or band that he was in. I should know, but I don't. But Steve Smith plays. So Force the Feelings one I always recommend, that and Cement Shoes and Sakuraka. But then Hio Silver is Jeff Watson, Bob Daisley, who Bob Daisley did a lot of
Ozzy, did he?
Ozzy, and who's he with now? That's Don Airy. I'm not sure who Bob Daisley was yet, but he did a lot of the early Randy Rhoads stuff with Ozzy and Carmen Appice, and that became Mother's Army, which is the band that Jeff had after this. Released records in Japan with Joe Lynn Turner of Rainbow and Deep Purple. You got
Well, let me
Randy.
jump in. There's another track on there. I think the next track in line is a song called Picnic Island. And that is, if you like Jeff's, like I said, his picking, like you're going to find on Goodbye and Let Him Run, that's the song you want to hear. And it's a short song. It's like a minute plus, but it is a beautiful example of Jeff Watson being Jeff Watson.
And the good thing about this record, it's kind of like just like a ride. You're going different, acoustic and then rock and then just all over the place. It keeps you interested. Osaka Rocka, which is a good rocking one. Randy Coven plays bass, and he was the bass player, I think, in like the Jeff Watson band and maybe Barnaby Wild.
Okay.
He played with a lot of people. He played with Yngwie back maybe 10, 15 years ago. And I guess, it was always, I remember reading the interview or something. It's like he got the job. Yngwie called him and was like, "Do you drink beer? do you drink beer? And Randy was like, yes. Do you play with a pick? Yes. Do you play a Fender? Yes. He goes, okay, you're hired. And that was, but
Uh,
he passed away about 10 years ago, Randy Coven. But he plays bass on there, plays bass maybe on a couple tracks.
yeah.
David Sykes, who is again a musician that's played on a lot of stuff, he plays on here. Um, Steve Morse, who's friends with Jeff. Steve Morse has been with Deep Purple for the last 20-25 years.
He played with Dixie Dregs in Kansas.
Yep.
And a little known fact about Steve Morse. I don't know if you know this. I didn't know this till I looked him up. He's from Hamilton, Ohio.
Did not know that.
I was like, Hamilton, wait a minute.
So,
I know where that's at.
So there you go. Some of the songs and some of the people that play on there. Just seeing if there's any other names that kind of jump out. Jesse Bradman has a co-write on here.
He does. That's right.
Jesse Bradman, who replaced Fitz for the Man of Motion tour. He still has Camel Management listed, so Bruce Bird is still probably in the picture there some. But there I'm just reading off the cassette. It was released on cassette, CD, and vinyl. So you can see the
Probably have all three.
Of course. I did not at the time. I got the cassette first, actually.
They got the lyrics in there at all?
Yeah, it's all 3 pages.
Scat.
But I'm pretty sure I got this on the cassette first. Probably just because yes, I would get CDs, but 15 years old, I got a paper route. So it's like, okay, do I spend $9 or $15? So got the cassette first, had to dig that out. But also released on CD. There's the picture on the back. Same thing on the back cover there. Probably not a lot of difference. I don't ever remember. Just, the older you get, the nicer it's to read the bigger print, I reckon. So there, like I said, released on CD. And there is a Japanese version. Not much different. The CD's looks a little bit different. You got the Obi strip. Yeah, I don't know if there's. Well, that's kind of neat. Hold on, I'll show you. So it's got the Forest of Feeling. It's got the music.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. For those who can read music, I cannot.
I would have said that was a G flat, not an F sharp. But
I can't disagree nor agree with you.
But other than that, I mean, it's almost the same. But I got that probably the Japanese one for a decent price. It isn't like I searched those out too hardcore. But here is, you can see that I've had this for a while because I think I got this autographed at the Neverland show. So this would have been 97.
So, was he surprised to see that?
Honestly, I can't remember, but probably.
I would say probably be like, wow.
I can't remember for sure. I know I had that in the Gill Rock Ranch. I remember one of them like showing the other guys. But again, just there's the album cover. This is the US version. And then just everything on the back. The thing is, even though it was shrapnel. Well, this isn't a US pressing. This might be a European pressing. Maybe it wasn't pressed here. Let me see here. This is a Holland press.
Oh, nice.
So you can see it's Roadrunner.
Yeah, I remember that name.
But this is so that's the Holland press. hell is this? All right, so this is the same thing. I must have got this for a decent price and just got it. So this is the same thing. So you have this Holland press, which is that label there. And then this is fairly recent, probably the last 10 years, because I remember getting this. So this is a Japanese version. So it had this hype sticker on there. Okay. And it was like a promo. And it's a really weird promo where the promo stamp is pressed into the record. I don't know if you can see that, but see?
Yeah. Yeah, you can see it.
Where it says not for sale. So it's not like a stamp. It's just like it was like a stamp without ink or something.
It's not the embossed kind that we used to see.
No. But other than that, I mean, the back is about the same, except it's got a few parts. You know what? This might not even be Japanese. I bet this is South Korean. Yeah, it is. Whenever I see the Ministry of Culture.
Yeah.
And you know what's weird? What the hell was I looking at? I was looking at a old newspaper online from the 50s, and I think it was showing like the movies like were listed like at the theaters at the time, but at the top I saw South Korea is creating a Ministry of Culture for entertainment. I'm like, hey, I've seen that. But anyways,
as it was forming.
Yeah, so it's just like I'm the nerd that was like, hey, look at that article. But you can see the difference. It's got the black Roadrunner label.
Looks nice. I like that one better.
It's got and then it has its own little, insert. And then, like I said, it has, I would assume this is the hype sticker for it. I mean, none of it's in English. Maybe one of our Japanese listeners can tell me exactly what that says there. But so there you go. I mean, I guess I need to look and see if it's actually got a Japanese vinyl release. I mean, we know it has a CD release. So we know it has like a Holland and South Korea. The only thing I have really from this time, like advertisement wise, and it's not really, I guess it's kind of tied to it, but it's more advertising GS strings, which again, at the time, it's cool to see this because, this is 1992 and there's not a lot of Night Ranger out there. Now I got him to sign it for me. But it does say here underneath this picture, catch Jeff on a solo release Lone Ranger. So you can see that right under the photo there.
And I'm sure he probably didn't do any touring, did he?
He did a small tour for Barnaby Wild, which was 1990. So, but I didn't. I
can't imagine the draw for an instrumental. I mean,
the only thing I can think is maybe he did some guitar in stores, which I know him and Brad did in 94. There's footage out there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what exactly he was at this point. Now he was doing like some work with like Chris Isaac and stuff around this time. So, he's probably doing some other things. Birthdays. Let's see here. So whatever month, Nuno Bentoncourt and David Coverdale and George Lynch, September. So, there you go. There was that. So there was some advertisements out there in 92. And then this is actually more Mother's Army. So whatever year Planet Earth came out from Mother's Army, you can see it was from Japan. It's a so I just grabbed it, but now I just see at the top Mother's Army. So it really doesn't have anything to do with Lone Ranger. So that's it. I mean, it's not a lot.
Sure.
But it is to have a couple vinyl releases and stuff for a 80s guitar player at the beginning and the height of grunge, not bad.
Again, and it's worth listening to if you are You know, if you like instrumental music, it's not bad.
Well,
I give it a
like I
thumbs
said,
up.
don't have to, you don't have to really like instrumental. Just if you just like good melodies. I mean, it shows you that what some of what Jeff contributed to the band with the melodies and stuff to the solos and throughout the song. So definitely, just like I said, it's worth checking out. Like I said, Brad releases one, which we'll go, do in the future. But with Brad, it's worth the price of admission alone just for the Greg Allman tracks. He does have a few songs on there with
Yeah.
vocals. But Jeff was really active during this period. I mean, we'll get into his next solo record, which does have vocalists on it, and it's released in Japan just the very next year or 2 years later. And then he's putting out albums left and right with Mother's Army. So Jeff is very productive during this time period. It's just you're at the height of grunge. So
Yep.
a couple things are released here, but a lot of it's released over in Japan. But definitely go check out Lone Ranger. I think you will enjoy. Um, yeah. Anything else? What did we miss? What did we miss?
I think that's it.
All right. Well,
We could wrap this one up.
yeah. Well, hell, probably half the people listening already have, and then uh,
To the fives of people that are still watching, thank you.
what we shouldn't downplay ourselves. We're fucking international icons. So
There's at least 10 people.
so listen, go to the Facebook page if you haven't already. Join. It's the greatest Night Ranger community you'll ever join. All right. It's the best. We have a web page. You can go to fansinmotion.com. It's a hoot too. But go there. All the podcasts are there and everything. You can catch us on all the podcatchers from there, iHeartRadio and Pandora and Spotify and Amazon and
Apple
well,
Podcasts.
fuck, I got a cheat sheet.
What's the Audio Mac?
Audio Mac. I like Audio Mac. Stitcher. But big thing is YouTube. If you're listening to us and you have not subscribed yet on YouTube, just make my heart pitter patter. Go click subscribe. I mean, it isn't like
We're not getting rich.
Isn't like we're posting shit every day, okay? Once every 2 weeks, so you're not going to get alerts. It'll make me happy. Maybe it'll make me healthier.
And I the one thing I always please everybody, if you can get one person to come to the page, tell somebody that likes melodic rock or likes Night Ranger. Just tell them to come on over. We're trying to grow this community. We want it to be bigger than it is. We've got we're up to what, 6,500 people now, I think, Josh.
I like that.
Best number I saw.
And Facebook,
I mean, it's amazing.
Facebook has changed it too, to where groups aren't getting the type of attention that they used to. So but I mean, we got Instagram and Twitter as well. I would definitely, always suggest people get on Twitter because it's just easy to share information there. So I'm always sharing stuff on Twitter, even Instagram. Instagram's got great stuff on stories.
Well, and you also, any of the postings you do, the different accounts get different things sometimes, picture wise. So
yeah, I'll try to, just switch it up a little bit sometimes, but yeah, so follow us, like us, all that good stuff.
yeah, like you don't have to like us individually.
I don't really want you to like me,
but like the page.
Yeah,
because we all, in the end of the day, we all love Night Ranger. And I mean, for Josh and I, we can't find a thrill anymore. This is all we got.
Well, and this will be the last episode of it. We got to wish him Merry Christmas and all that shit.
Is this it?
Well, I think
before Christmas.
I think the next episode will be after Christmas. This is going to be released on the 14th. So after that's the 28th. So
well, then, Merry Christmas to all of our friends in motion. Happy Hanukkah to those Jewish persuasion.
Merry
Kwanzaa,
Christmas.
if there's anybody out there that celebrates that. Good on you. Have a great holiday season.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
I'm going to spend my pre-holiday in San Diego. Not thinking about you guys at all. I'm gonna go bask in the sun.
Well, I'll be
Well, whatever sun they have.
the hole in the sun. I will be probably just drinking, you know, the
Them
old
bothered me. Hey, let's
the
do the episode real quick while you're on the beach.
yeah, the old Christmas tradition of some blue ribbon. But yeah, so Merry Christmas, y'all. We will probably, we'll probably get Brent back on here. Maybe. I don't know. I know you're kind of, you've been pushing to, you know, put him behind the scenes. I get it, but it's I think it's still um
I cannot confirm nor deny
pertinent to have him on,
any rumors that you start.
even if it's to make us look better. But uh we'll get Brent on the next one, and we'll kind of talk about the year of 2021 and what to expect for 2022.
There you go.
All right, well, take us out of here, Andrew.
Well, everybody, thank you so much. If you're still watching, thank you. We do love and appreciate all the support you give us. And again, we won't see you until after the holidays. So have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And we'll see you for the New Year.
We
Merry
will
Christmas
see them
and
for
Hanukkah and all those good things. And from me and Josh to you, thank you.